Whew. Hello, YouTube fans. Here again. And I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word. Let's do the film people wanted, or my sisters wanted. That being Delta Force. That's right. Delta Force 2. Delta Force 2, the second one. Why not? With my mate, Chuck Norris. Back again as the soldier from the original. What can I say about this one? This one was shot in 1991. Obviously, it was a sequel, and it's a dud one. It's a dud one. It's to do with our mate again being played by Chuck Norris, who goes after these evil soldiers. These are like mercenaries and terrorists, just like the first one. And long and behold, you do have a villain in it. I shit you not, you do have a villain in it who is very similar, the same actor. Remember a villain in the villain, right? How can I put it? Who is in let me think. Enforcer USA. That's right, Enforcer USA. Well, there's a main villain, right, which is in Enforcer USA. If you've ever seen it, there's a scene where a villain, I'm not making this up, gets shot down there. Gets shot down there, and this other woman gets flung through a fucking window, and he gets killed, the main villain. It's not in it that long, it's not like a drug dealer, he gets shot in the anatomy. Well, he's the main villain in this. I shit you not, he's the main villain in this, and he's a sort of a baddie you love to hate. He's a baddie you love to hate. And I've got to admit that, and I even read this up, I've got to admit that Data Force 2 is an unestimated sequel. It is an unestimated sequel, and it's a dud. It's got good fight scenes, it's got a lot of good action scenes, it's a very competent made film, and the action is pretty damn good. I love to see where Chuck Norris is on a parachute, he gets hold of the main villain and he drags him up. I love it, and I also love a scene, right? I also love a scene where they're in, I can put it, in a Chinese taffy, like a restaurant. And you always get it, I remember, right? I remember when I was in a taffy once myself. You always get some dickheads what ruin it. You know, you get punks, you get people who think they're hard, and they do. There's these cocky guys, and they're in a taffy, and they're dobbing off, and they're down about being hard. And Chuck Norris at first, he's going to ignore it, but then he sees them giving this guys obviously running the place a tough time. They're putting him about and slapping him. So our mate, Chuck Norris, walks in and says, "You didn't do it right. Let me show you how you do it." Next thing you know, next thing you know, he fucking batters them all and beats them all up and gives them a well-deserved dud hiding. A well-deserved dud hiding. And I love it. I love it. The other thing I also like is, and I've got to admit, and I'll be honest, it kind of reminds me this of Licensed to Kill. Remember the Bond film I reviewed? Remember the Bond film? Well, it reminds me of that. And for people to think, Pete, what are you on about? Licensed to Kill is a total different film than Delta Force 2. Hear me out. Like Licensed to Kill, it is a revenge film. I'm not making this up. It's a revenge film because the guy, right, who is Chuck Norris's mate, right, playing me dog that's doing me head in, right, the guy who is Chuck Norris's mate has a wife, right, and he was in the restaurant with his wife, and he also has a lad in it, right. Well, the terrorists obviously got pissed because of what happened, and they want to get their revenge on the guy. So what they do is they break into the guy's house, they cold-bloodedly kill his son. Then if that ain't evil enough, you don't see it, it's off steam, but he shoots the guy's wife. He shoots the wife. So the guy goes in, right? Goes in and he sees his wife shot in the head. Bit graphic to some scene, even though it was off steam. He breaks out, he really breaks out. The poor guy's sobbing his heart, he's crying his eyeballs out, and Chuck Norris is like in shock. You know, it's his mate. He was friends with the wife and all, and you just see him dead and the lad dead. You definitely hate the bad guy in this. You hate him, you think he's a scumbag. So Chuck Norris obviously wants revenge on these fuckers, and rightly so. So that's why I say it's a bit like License to Kill in the sense that Chuck Norris goes out, he goes out on revenge. It's a revenge film, and that's what I like about Delta Force 2. That's what I like about it. You behave, right? I like it for that because at the end of the day, It's a dud 'un. I mean, it's a dud 'un. So here we go again. I mean, Chuck Norris goes after the bad guys, and there's a good scene in it where one main villain is fighting Chuck Norris. You think the villain's going to get the better, but if you ever seen any Chuck Norris film, you know Chuck Norris always gets the better of them. He always kicks the shit out of them. It's like I said, I only remember one film once where you could say it was more of a fight and more fisticuffs. So I would say Ray of the Dragon was more of that with Bruce Lee and Chuck. But you know, Chuck Norris is getting down and he's going to get beaten up, but then Chuck Norris gets the better of the bad guy, kicks the shit out of the bad guy, and right the show. Right the show. This one, though, unlike the original Delta Force, is a lot more violent, and I would say it's a lot more darker on heads. It's a darker film than the first one. You know what I mean? You didn't expect to see poor guy's wife get brutally murdered. You didn't expect to see that. But again, you want Chuck Norris to get his sweet revenge, and he does. He kills them off all one by one, gets his sweet revenge on the bad guy, and right the show. And that's what I like about this film. I mean, Delta Force 2 is an unestimated sequel. In my eyes, it is an unestimated sequel, and it's a dud one. And I dilute it for that. And I like my mate Chuck Norris. I mean, I like him in a lot of films, whether it would be The Missing in Actions, whether it would be Enforcer USA, whether it would be Silent Raids, and in this as well, Delta Force and Delta Force 2. It's a dud. It's a dud. You know, I kind of miss not seeing Lee Majors in it, I've got to be honest, because I like Lee Majors, and we all know he passed away in 87, and this was a 1991 film. But I still like it. You know, it's got action, it's got trucks shooting up baddies, and it's like I said before. It's like I said before. These are the films, in my eyes, I miss Chuck Norris in. I miss films like this, and I've already repeated it, so I'll repeat myself. You know, in Force USA, the Missing in Action films, and Delta Force. I miss him in films like these. These are films, in my eyes, I've got to admit, I miss Chuck Norris in because he was brilliant in these films. These films, in my eyes, were his best roles, his best bladding roles. So that's what I've got to say. So what can I say about Delta Force 2? It's a duddon. It's a bladding duddon. You know what I mean? I know a couple of years later they made a Delta Force 3, which, believe it or not, had Chuck Norris's son in it. But the less I talk about that, the happier I'll be. But you know, this was there now in the early 90s, where Tannen was doing a bit more of Chuck Norris, and sadly to say his career at that point was going a little bit down in his action films. You know, a lot of people watch Danny or they watch Psy still. But Chuck Norris is one of them, not a lot of people talk about his films. So I think, what the fuck? That being, I'm going to put it again, Delta Force 2, an unestimated film. Definitely has good action scenes. It's definitely a good from Tannen into them. I do more movies on the way. Be smart, be safe, and I'll see you soon.